Hi, welcome to Teardown Tuesday. Yes, retro computer time again. I love retro computers. This one is from my personal collection. It's the IBM PS2 model L40SX. Oh, look at this baby. It's not hugely old in the scheme of retro computers. It's early 90s vintage, about 1991 I think is the release date. I bought this back in about late 92, 93 or something. They were clearing them out. Absolutely dirt cheap. I couldn't resist getting it. And it is a beautiful machine. IBM's PS2 line, of course, was designed to counter all of the clones coming out and absolutely killing them in the market around about that time. So they designed they changed the architecture to micro-channel and did lots of proprietary stuff and came out with the PS2 line. A lot of people don't know that they actually made a couple of PS2 laptops, and this is one of the first ones of them, the L40SX. And I have the original power adapter. I have the, well, not the original reference diskette, but I've got a reference diskette, the original manual, and I did have the original case on it, but I got this out of my roof space at home, and no, the case was pretty much starting to rot away, so I ditched that, but it's still in very good condition. So let's take this puppy apart and see what's into it. But I'm going to violate my rule and actually turn it on first, because I know everyone wants to see this sucker working. So hopefully it still works. Now it is your classic clamshell design, but very, very thick unit. I mean, it's, you know, not exactly slim at all. Yes, that is a 1.4 meg, 3.5 inch floppy in the thing. It's fairly light, you know, it's not massively heavy. It's a smidgen under 3 kilos. On the back here, we have ourselves a, yes, parallel printer port. RS-232 serial. That's for the external numeric keypad, which I have, which I forgot to show you. I've got that here somewhere. That is the battery. The battery's missing. I think I've long thrown that out. And a dock expansion connector, external VGA connector. And that's about it. Ah, yes, there it is. External numeric keypad. Ah, beautiful. But the thing I absolutely loved most about this machine was the keyboard. In my opinion, the best feeling keyboard ever made. It was actually quite well regarded, this notebook, for journalists and writers and things like that, because I can't convey the feel. You know, it's got that tactile feedback, but sort of a little bit spongy. It's just absolutely perfect. I can't convey the quality in the keyboard. It's just phenomenal, and I've never touched a keyboard like it since. It's just, oh, beautiful. And there's the money shot. Oh, look at that. Seriously, words cannot convey how beautiful this keyboard feels. Oh. Check out the size of this power adapter though. It's absolutely enormous. Fairly lightweight. It is actually switch mode. It's a 15 volt 2.7 amp universal voltage one, made in Japan, by the way. Fantastic. But yeah, this was really big, thick and clunky to carry around. It was thicker than the notebook itself, and when you tried it, the carry case didn't have like a separate pouch for this thing, so it's not like you could easily carry around the AC adapter. That was a real mongrel of a bad point about this particular machine. Now, there's one thing I did really like about this machine is these LCD Annunciators here, all the ones all along here, as you'll see. Hopefully when we power it up, it seems to be working here. I've actually plugged in the power at the back, and we got in our battery light, even though there's no battery charging there. And, well, I just loved the LCD. As far as the engineering point of view went, they weren't pissing away current with driving LEDs, which almost all other notebooks had back then. They went to the trouble to do this big LCD strip across there. Obviously, I think it's just one big strip right along the top there, but we'll see that when we take it apart. But I thought that was a nice touch. And as I said, this thing isn't too retro in terms of IBM, like a regular PC architecture. It does have an Intel 80386SX processor running at 20 megahertz, which, you know, for the day wasn't all that bad. And it had a whopping 18 meg of RAM. Yes, you can only use the regular 16 meg, but the extra 2 meg you could use as EMS memory on this thing. And a floppy drive, it had like I think a 20 or a 40 meg hard drive in the thing. I'm not sure if that will still work, or even if there's one in there. We'll find out. And the screen, monochrome only. That was a fair disadvantage. I think a lot of notebooks had transitioned over to pretty crappy color screens back then. At least they were color. I think it's only VGA res, like 640 by 480. And if I remember rightly, the contrast on it was pretty small, and the view angle and that sort of stuff. So not the world's best screen, but with that beautiful keyboard on it. And 80386SX processor running at 20 megahertz, it was okay. Had an auto manual switch over here, and that was for the power saving mode, and you could just switch it over to manual mode, which I had it set up to for like maximum processor speed. So that was like super duper fast mode if I wanted it to crunch numbers, or I'd whack it onto automatic mode where it would go into auto power saving mode, and it was quite quite decent battery life on the thing, if I remember correctly. NiCad battery, so you got to remember it for its day, 1991. So alright, here we go. Let's boot this puppy up and see what we get. Yeah, all the annunciators are lit up. Can hear the hard drive spinning. It's seeking the floppy drive, and oh yes, we have something on the screen. There we go. There we go. Look at that. It only had, it's only got 2 meg. Only got 2 meg of memory. There we go. That's not much at all. Press F1 to continue. No. Hello. There we go. Woohoo! It works. The hard drive obviously didn't work, or is not formatted or something, but we are into BASIC. Check it out. Copyright IBM Corp 1981. It still has BASIC in ROM. Beautiful. Ah, look at that. Here we go. 10. Print. Hello. Whoop. World. 20. Go to 10. Run. Ta-da! BASIC in ROM. Classic. Alright, I'm going to try that again, but I'm going to try the reference disk. No, sort of nothing growing, no fungus growing on the disk or anything like that. Let's see. Hey, there we go, all the annunciators. Had an over temperature warning on there. There we go. Memory's booting up. Only had 2 meg, but that was enough back in the day. It did support 18 meg, as I said. I have no idea what 161 is or 163. Have no idea. Yep, it's loading. It's trying to seek the floppy, and I didn't hear it seek again. No, it tried once. Oh, there it goes again. Ah, it's fighting. Will it boot? Come on, you can do it. Yep, it's seeking. I think there's a good chance this will work. I don't hear that sort of seeking failure, kind of. That sounds like, hey, there we go. IBM PS2 System 2 model L40SX reference diskette 1.00. There we go. Copyright 1991. The floppy drive still works. The disk still works. This is my backup copy of the reference diskette. I'm not sure where the original reference diskette went. But this puppy is working. Backup battery error. Oh, okay, there you go. That's what 161 is. Okay, the backup battery in it. Maybe it could have leaked on the motherboard or something, or it's definitely dead. F8 to go forward. Okay. And blah, authorized dealer, blah, blah, blah. And message, if you want to make a backup copy, do it now, blah, 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 blah. Enter the date and time before running. I don't care. Just go. I want to see the DOS prompt. I think it was, well, actually, no, I thought I was going to say it was, no, it wasn't. It wouldn't be MS-DOS. It'd be Microsoft. It'd be IBM, of course. Whatever, 1990. Automatic configuration. I know everyone wants to see inside this thing, but I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun booting this thing up. So you're going to have to bear with me. Automatic configuration. Not sure what it's configuring. I thought it just booted into DOS, and this has various utilities on it to test it and things like that, if I remember correctly. So no, it's rebooting. Okay, so what, it configures the CMOS, the old floppy seeking noise. Back up, there we go, it's a configuration utility. Back up the reference disk, set configuration, set features, password, test the computer, display revision levels, set features. What do we got here? It's got to read the disk just to go to another menu. What, they couldn't compile everything into the one exe and do it that way? Set features menu, install set feature. What? Bloody hell. Keyboard, no. Speaker, oh, whoop-de-doo. Forward. Automatic typewriter, LCD, color reversed. We could test the computer, but, you know, does it matter? It works. And there we go, BIOS version 27th of the 2nd, 91. Alright, well, let's take this puppy apart. Everyone wants to see what's inside it. And if I remember rightly, the keyboard just pops right off. And you can see some of the motherboard that way, not all of it though. So, lift it up, and I think that's it. I think this, keyboard pops out. We might have a surprise in here. Yes, we do. We do have a surprise. It's still in there. I was hoping it was. Let's check it out. And yes, this puppy is souped up to the hilt. Here's our Intel 80386SX 20 megahertz processor down here. They got that in a fine pitch quad flat pack, but I populated it with the IIT, sorry, 3C87SX 20 megahertz math co-processor. Look at that. So this was an absolute screamer as far as doing floating point calculations, all done in hardware in the math co-processor. People take that for granted these days, that the processors just work, but back then your regular Intel processor was dog slow at any floating point stuff unless you actually added the math co-processor in. Now it's all just built in. Nobody ever thinks about it anymore, but back then that was a real big deal to go out and buy this. And this was this IIT one, I can't remember the exact specs, but it was like, you know, I don't know, at least a couple of times quicker, more efficient than the genuine Intel 80387 math co-processor. So this was the one to get back in the day, and wonder what happened to IIT. Goodness, I think that was probably their only product, was this math co-processor. Made in the USA, just like Bruce Springsteen. And there it is, the keyboard made in the United States of America. USA, USA, USA. Everyone loves it when I say that. I get it so wrong. Now, a good lot of your circuitry is accessible in this thing without having to go any further. We've got our 2 memory expansion slots here. I think I did have them populated at one stage, but I probably took them out, so I don't exactly recall. We've got a huge custom gate array over here. It's got its own revision number. We've got our got our ROM there socketed. As I said, main 386SX processor. The optional usually didn't come populated. 386 co-processor, and the WDC system controller we'll take a look at, and a whole bunch. Well, we've got some, we've got the internal 2 meg of memory here, and a whole bunch of 7.4 series logic everywhere else. There is quite a significant amount of 7.4 series logic. 7.4 ACTs, 373s, 244s, there's 125s, and all sorts of 7.4 HC series logic. Looks like we have a small surface mount regulator down there, and pretty much all of it's surface mount. IBM, of course, optimized this thing for manufacture. Tiny little speaker, and this flat flex ribbon would be going off to the, as I said, the LCD strip up there. And this WD76C10, huge big package in here, the biggest package by far, and it is the main system controller. It handles memory interfacing, of course. That's why the memory's coupled right into it up there, and you know, timing and all sorts of the bus interface stuff for the SX processor right next to it here. Curiously, it's got Proto on there, and well, I don't know, what is that? Surely it's not a prototype chip. And anyway, we've got ourselves a date code, 9th week 91. So this one, it looks, most of the chips around here look to be about that sort of vintage. So it looks like it was manufactured in 91, this one. But prototype, I doubt it. This is a production machine, so don't know what proto means. And look at that classic, the old 8042 PS2 Keyboard Controller. Brings back memories. And it looks like they've got some sort of programmable device there, probably like a little Gal or PAL or something like that. I'll just whip that label off and we'll have a squiz there, shall we? Got to have a look. So yeah, it'd be like a, you know, just a little, hard to read. Let me get in there. An N85C224. Intel. And yep, sure enough, that is an Intel 8 macro cell PLD. So tiny little bit of glue logic there. And we can lift out. Ta-da. Oh, no, the floppy. Oh, yep, there we go. We can lift out our top cover there, and we've got ourselves. There is our, the hard drive. Okay. That's interesting. Now it's coming back to me. Now it's coming back. All right, let's have a look. We've got ourselves a power supply up here, and there's our backup Actually, there's two backup batteries. So this is rather interesting. And my Pommy viewers will love this. Look at this hard drive. This is not the original, but check it out, made in the UK. There you go, the old Dart. Fantastic. That was back when IBM made hard drives before they sold it off. Works from 5 volts, made in the UK. Oh, it's just beautiful. Anyway, this was the reason it's not original is because it has a Daewoo sticker on it. Remember Daewoo? The cars, didn't they go bust or something? Well, they made notebooks as well. And I had a Daewoo notebook, which I used for many, many years. It was like a real ultra compact notebook. It was fantastic. So obviously, at some point, I took the hard drive out of that and put it back up, put it back in this thing. So the Daewoo one was after this. So I believe, yeah, well, Feb 96. There it is. So yeah, I obviously tried to boot this thing up back in the probably the late 90s with that old Daewoo hard drive. I can't remember. I think I tossed it. I think it just went bung. Anyway, Daewoo. Oh, there's a blast from the past. So there's no reason why we couldn't really replace this with a solid state equivalent hard drive these days. You wouldn't replace it with an actual hard drive. I don't think. You probably, you know, put in some sort of solid state equivalent. You could get this thing booted up fairly nicely, I think, and then it'd be silent, of course, because there's no fan in this sucker, so it'd be completely silent apart from the beeps, which you could turn off, and yeah, it'd be an okay machine for some purpose like that. Now, underneath the keyboard here, we've got a couple of interesting things. First of all, this is our heatsink here, and look, it's not your traditional anodized aluminium, so that's rather interesting. It's that's a 7805. It looks like there's a diode there. Got a little ferrite bead on the lead there, just taking a bit of edge off the edge, so to speak, pun intended. So we've got ourselves an LT1270 switching regulator there. So of course this is all a switching converter all around here, all these low ESR caps. They've put a nice cutout in the PCB for those to lay those down flat. So that's rather interesting. And they've laid all the other ones down flat. Of course, no room vertically. It's got to fit under the floppy drive. And that's about all she wrote. There we go. There's that little ferrite bead there. I like that. But of significant interest, take a look over here. Look at this vertical riser hybrid. I can't see what's on the other side much. There's a, oh yes I can, there we go, I can just take out the, ta-da, too easy. Yeah, we've got an SO8 on the back there, 2 SO8s actually, and a couple of other things, and a couple of thick film resistor networks. Let's take a look at the other side. Well, that's interesting, look at that. A 4066 phase lock loop and 7404 there, mounted on that ceramic riser board. Why? Why they've gone to the effort to do that hybrid is beyond me. Is it that critical that they're phase lock looping, you know, that they're generating some clock via a PLL for I don't know what? But yeah, very strange. And then the other interesting thing is the flat flex ribbon cable. They've gone to the effort to put the parallel port up there. Not surprising, really squeeze it just behind the heatsink in there, keep it very low profile. And they've put some little ferrite beads on there, once again, just for, you know, take the edge off things and for EMI compliance. And that, tucked away on the back of the heatsink there, looks for all the world like a thermal cutout switch. Just one of those, you know, cheap-ass, simple ones that you get for any sort of, you know, industrial application for rough thermal cutout for over temperature. You know, if that heatsink hits 80 degrees or something, bingo, it just disconnects probably the input. Straight, you know, it just disconnects the DC input or the battery input. We got ourselves a Linear Tech LT1137 there. That's for the RS232 driver, and most of the other stuff around here is switch mode power supply. We've got an unpopulated device here that looks like a crystal which goes next to it, little 4-pin metal can crystal. So I don't know what would be going on there, but we have ourselves a Lattice Gal 20V8 down in there as well. So once again, doing some glue logic. And that WDC controller once again got Proto and Proto over here, so yeah, I don't know, it must mean something else. WD76C21, that's the combined floppy drive controller and real-time clock. And that WDC76C30 there, that's like a, well, 3-in-1 basically. It's a peripheral controller, so it does dual serial port control, parallel, and all that sort of stuff. And it does interrupt multiplexing and also clock generation as well. So fairly versatile little device. We've got ourselves 2 batteries in this thing. As I mentioned before, this one's a rechargeable NiCad battery, 45 milliamp hours, so I'm not sure what the hell that thing's doing in there. And the other one is a lithium primary battery. That's the one that's most likely flat, so it's lost all its content, all the CMOS contents. And you're probably thinking, well, where is the video card? Where is the video display chip? Well, here it is, WDC again. They made a whole slew of chipsets designed for everything, a complete PC architecture AC system. This is the WDC, you guessed it, 90C20. There's a 90C10 in here, 90C20 and the 90C30 and the 90C21 that we have in this thing. So they've got the full WDC chipset support. Anyway, this is the graphics controller. Supports monochrome and external VGA interface, 640 by 480 VGA. We've got ourselves the display memory here, not sure exactly how much, and there's like it's like a 30 megahertz 28 megahertz LCD clock or something like that. Not very quick at all, not very powerful. 32 grey shades. For the mono LCD, it supports up to 256 color or something like that on the external color CRT interface. But yeah, nothing fancy, just VGA interface. All you gamer nerds must be going, what the hell is that thing? Where's the fan on it? Where's the water cooling? Can I play Crysis on it? And over in this corner, we've got the LCD cables just going off there, just through the rotating hinge there. We've got ourselves a ferrite, of course, just to take the edge off things again. And that little cable going down in the back there, there must be some sort of micro switch in the lid. That's for the that's to detect that the lid's shut so that it can shut the thing down. And I tried to get the screen open. There were two security Torx bits in there, and I managed to get those out. But yeah, it's not coming apart easy. I really don't want to damage this thing. I want to keep it in one piece. There's not, there's probably a trick to actually getting the front cover off the screen, but I tried, and well, there's not much of interest behind there anyway. It's just going to be a daggy old 640 by 480 mono LCD, so nothing hugely fancy, so please forgive me for not going into there. So there you go, that's a look inside an early 90s vintage, in particular 1991 vintage IBM PS2. Not many people knew there was a PS2 laptop, but there was. PS2 model L40SX, and as I said, beautiful keyboard, and there's quite nice engineering inside this thing. I mean, in terms of thermal, the thermal stuff, thermal cutout, the protection, the EMI stuff, they've done everything really well. They got that nice little hybrid in there doing something, and made in the USA. It really is a nice machine, and it's hard to fault this thing. I'm not sure, absolutely 100% how competitive this was when it came out in 91. Probably not hugely competitive, but probably wasn't too far behind the curve, because as I said, you whack the co-processor in that thing, which would have low power shutdown modes. That's the other thing. The IIT Math co-processor in here, I believe, was lower power. Try and find a datasheet or a brochure for this thing back in the day if I can. But 20 megahertz, a 386SX processor in the thing, it wasn't too bad at all, and you could probably use it as a reasonable little modern machine just for doing some tasks running DOS off a solid state drive or something like that. So really high quality, and that keyboard was just superb quality. Really, I can't tell you how wonderful this feel is, but if you ever get a chance, it's just fantastic. I know it's personal preference, but I think this thing was highly regarded back in its day for the feel of the keyboard. A lot of people used it for a long time just because of that. And, well, there you go. It's a really nice little machine. I like it. It's not too retro. It's not, 1980s or 70s retro, but classic early 90s stuff, and made in the United States of America. Gotta love it. And as always, I'll link in all the data sheets to all the chips on this thing down below, so check them out. And if you want to discuss it, jump on over to the EEVblog forum. That's linked below down as well. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my EEVblog 2 channel, the second channel where I put just a random material and stuff that doesn't go on the main blog, but it's still semi-related. So there you go. Catch you next time.